Good afternoon and welcome to Walton Employment Services. We're pleased to be able to host the Honourable Brad Dogood today and to have him share the exciting details of the Youth Employment Fund. Also pleased that we recognize and thank our many community partners who are present today and who we work closely with for the success of our clients. After the message from the Minister and a little presentation, I invite you to stay around, walk through the facility. We're going to have a little tour, and please speak with our youth and employers who are here, who have participated in our program. And I'm going to introduce you now to our Master of Ceremonies, our Employment Ontario Program Manager, Caroline McNamara.
Thank you very much, Greg, and on behalf of the organization, welcome to Walton Employment Services. I'm really pleased to have the privilege and the honor today of introducing the Honourable Brad Dogood, Minister of Training Colleges and Universities and Member of Parliament for Scarborough-Centre since 2003. Minister Dogood was appointed to his current portfolio in February of 2013, and in that role, he's working very closely with students, with youth, with the post-secondary sector, and with employers to build a globally competitive post-secondary education system. In addition, he's working vigorously at transforming Ontario's training systems to meet the demands of Ontario's economy. This ministry has created many exciting and innovative programs to assist the unemployed to obtain the training and the support that they need to find meaningful employment. The recently introduced Youth Employment Fund is helping thousands of Ontario youth to obtain training, financial support, and the opportunity needed to kickstart their careers. This vital foot in the door will make all the difference for our young people, and we applaud the ministry for its innovative approach to assisting young people with the pressing issues that they're facing today. So I had a little bit more to say in introducing Brad Dogood, but I will just say that he has a long list of portfolios for which he has served in the 25 years that he has been in his public position, and we're more than delighted to have you here today.
Yeah, I have nothing in Chrysler, yeah, that's what I make fun of too.
Thank you, Caroline, for that introduction. Thank you more so for the leadership that you provide here in this facility and the leadership that you provide in the community. These programs, no matter how hard we try as government to try to get programs right, they're only as effective as our frontline service providers make them. And this is one program, I can tell you, traveling across the province, that's really succeeding because I think our frontline service providers, like here at the Walton Employment Services, have just seized this opportunity and are running with it. Greg, I want to thank you as well. I want to thank you for your work in getting this enterprise up and running, the social enterprise, in seizing this opportunity to work with us on this initiative. I want to thank you and your entire team that are here today together, some who I've had a chance to meet already, some who I haven't had a chance to meet yet. So as I said, you're the frontline stars. I'm here really just to thank you, and I'm here as well to acknowledge the incredible accomplishments that you've made under this program in a very short period of time. But I'll get to that in a minute. I'm also here with my good friend Lou Rinaldi, who I think all of you know very well. Lou has been a community leader here for some time, a long time. He's also an employer here, so we're going to have to twist his arm to get him to take on a couple of youth under this program if they can, Lou. I don't know if that's something that's possible, but it's we've got a number of employers here in the room with us here today. I also want to acknowledge them for stepping up, because this program would not be possible without employers in the community embracing it and taking it on. So we're in some very challenging times economically, and I think we recognize that. We recognize that we've been through a challenging global recession. We recognize that the unemployment rate is higher than we'd like. But I think it's also important to share with Ontarians how far we've come since the global recession, because you don't see that sometimes in the headlines. We're up 135,000 net new jobs since the global recession. So that's all jobs that we've recovered since the global recession, and that's net. So that's overall. We're up 165% now altogether in terms of job recovery. People don't realize this. We've recovered all the jobs we lost during the recession. We're now up another 65% on top of that. By comparison, in the U.S., they're about 87% recovered. So that tells us something. It tells us that here in Ontario, we're working together and we're doing something right here in the province of Ontario to continue to create those jobs. It also tells us, and we fully recognize this, that there's a lot more work left to do. Unemployment rate is still too high. Although it has been coming down steadily since the recession, one of our key challenges is that the youth unemployment rate is double the unemployment rate for the rest of us. I don't think there's anybody here in this room that think that that's okay. I think each and every one of us here in this room realize that that's challenging for our young people today, but it's also going to have an impact on our future workforce and the competitiveness of our future workforce, because if those young people don't get an opportunity to gain real job experience, it's going to affect the competitiveness down the road of what is our most effective, most important competitive asset when it comes to attracting investment to this province. So this is important to help young people today, but it's also an important building block towards building a strong economy in the years ahead. So I want to just touch on a few of the things we're working on, and we've had a plan in place for some time. The Youth Employment Fund is a critical part of this plan. We're investing in people, and that's what we're about to talk about today is about. We're investing in people in our education system as well. We've built one of the strongest education systems anywhere in the world. Our graduation rate is as high as anywhere in the industrialized world, and we're #1 when it comes to post-secondary attainment rates anywhere in the industrialized world. And that we weren't that way 10 years ago. We've had to work very hard with the sector, with our community, with our young people to be able to get to where we are today. But that's a very, very important investment. We're also investing heavily in infrastructure, and I know Luke can tell you, because he's worked very hard on a number of infrastructure investments that have been made in this community through the years. We're investing in record amounts in infrastructure. It keeps people working during challenging times, but it also contributes to ensuring that our competitiveness remains real, because you need to have strong infrastructure if you're going to have a competitive economy. So we're going to keep doing that. We're also investing in building a climate for investment that keeps growing, and is one of the reasons why Ontario is in the top 3 jurisdictions in North America in attracting foreign direct investment. I think a lot of Ontarians probably aren't all that aware of that, but I know a lot of Eastern Ontarians are aware of the Eastern Ontario Development Fund. And again, Lou's shaking his head because he was one of the champions of that a number of years ago. That fund alone has landed about 15,000 new jobs and jobs that we've retained in Eastern Ontario as a result of those investments. So we're really keen on ensuring that we continue to make the progress we're making, but we have to do more when it comes to youth unemployment. We have to give our young people more opportunities to enter into that job market. And that's why in 2013, when the budget came forward, we had what we call a youth job strategy put in place. This youth job strategy was an investment of $295 million over 2 years. A challenging investment because, as you know, these are challenging times at Queen's Park in terms of deficit, but an investment that we felt we needed to make. This is a priority for us. It will provide young people across the province with about 35,000 job opportunities. And it comes in 4 separate hubs. Just want to touch on that with you today. Many of you probably know this already, but there's an entrepreneurship hub. And the entrepreneurs in the room, I see your heads nodding. That's really important that we give young people an opportunity to start up their own companies, both so that they can be young entrepreneurs and build startups across the province, which is really important to our economy, but also so they can start thinking entrepreneurially and bringing innovation. Even if they don't end up as an entrepreneur themselves, you want them to bring that way of thinking into the companies that come here and locate here, because it's all about innovation in today's economy, and we need our bright young people to be thinking entrepreneurially and thinking in an innovative way. We also have a Youth Connections Fund, which is an important part as well. And what that does is it brings labor, business, and our young people together and trying to address some of our skills gap. We have a youth innovation fund, and this excites me as well, because one of the best Ontario success stories out there that not a lot of people know about is our on-campus and off-campus business accelerators. They're startup accelerators. We're doing really well at this. In fact, we're the best in North America at this today. It's giving young people an opportunity while they're in school to start up companies. And it's actually driving all kinds of companies to come here and invest. It's not by accident that Google has a head office right in Waterloo University. They want to be close to the students, right at Communitech in Waterloo, I should say. They want to be close to the innovation, and companies want to be close to the innovation in North America. And we're producing some of the best young entrepreneurs anywhere in the world through these programs, which is absolutely an made in Ontario success story that's really starting to blossom. So we're investing in that too. But the centerpiece of this program is the Youth Employment Fund. It's an investment of $195 million over 2 years. It's to provide job opportunities for 25,000 young people across this province. And I've got to tell you, it's been a huge success so far. Now, when the Premier asked me to put together this fund, we had a couple of choices. We could have done it the traditional government program easy way, which would be to give businesses a fairly simple subsidy for every young person they hired. That would have been great. Lou and I would be able to put a check mark beside our political talking points and say we've done something, and it would help some young people. The challenge with that is it would help the young people that are job ready. It would not likely help a lot of young people that have some barriers to employment, that are a little further from the labor market, that I know that the Watton Employment Centre works with very, very closely. So the Premier decided, now let's do it the hard way. We want to make sure this program works. We want to make sure it makes an impact. So we created the Youth Employment Fund. All youth are eligible, so every youth in Ontario under the age of 30 is eligible for the program. But we encourage our local service providers to really target those youth that are a little more distant from the labor market, that need a little more help to get a job. And they've been doing a fantastic job in doing that. The other thing we've done, and this took a lot of trust on our part and a little bit of risk, which governments sometimes don't like to do, we gave off a lot of the responsibility and flexibility for the program for our local service providers, who have the ability to negotiate with their local employers the appropriate amount of compensation that they should get, up to a limit of about $6,800. That would be the top amount. But it would depend on the job readiness of the young person, and it would depend on the amount of training involved for that business, and the commitment that business would have to make, and the risk that that business would have to take on for that young person. And that's proven to be very, very successful and a very effective way for us to roll out this program. So as I said, the program has been a huge success across the province, and it's been a huge success here in Cobourg. So I just want to share with you, and it may be announced publicly for the first time, just how successful the Watton Employment Centre has been in responding to this very, very important program. All in all, they had 28 allocations that were awarded to them from the province. And I don't know how you guys have done this, but they've placed 39 young people in employment opportunities in a short 4.5 months. I think that deserves a round of applause. I'm still trying to figure out how you got 39 placements out of 28 allocations. Maybe I don't want to know. But I'm assuming you're going to be applying for more allocations, because there's obviously an appetite here in this community to take on these young people. All in all, that contributes to what I think is fast becoming a real program success story here in the province of Ontario. Across the province, in a short 4.5 months, we've been able to place 6,463 young people. 4.5 months' work. That is phenomenal. And that makes me proud as the minister sort of responsible for the program, and I'm sure it makes our Premier proud of our government being able to move forward to help all these young people get that good start in employment. But it's really our local service providers, as I said, that are doing the work, that are out there making the partnerships with our businesses that are delivering for us. So I'd like you now to give them a round of applause, all the folks working here who are actually delivering for our young people. in a very big way. Finally, I really have to thank our employers. And I know there's some employers here today. I've had a chance to meet a few of them, and we may hear from one or two of them as well after I speak. I want to thank you for stepping up. There is no way a program like this could be this successful if our employers weren't inclined to step up, take a risk by hiring a young person, and help work in partnership with this organization and service providers across the province. You folks have stepped up big time. If there's 6,463 young people with employment opportunities, there's probably close to 6,000 employers out there that are providing those opportunities. So in my eyes, you're the other heroes here in the room today. So please give our employers a round of applause for their leadership. And it doesn't, the real stars here are our young people. It takes a lot of wisdom for a young person, and sometimes some courage to walk into an office like this and ask for help. And it takes them courage as well to go out and start that first job experience. And I talked to one young lady here today in the food industry, and what I'm hearing across the province, and I think your story is similar to that, is that this in some cases has been a life-changing experience for these young people. It's an opportunity for them to get hope where they were starting to lose hope before this program came along. So I'm looking forward to hearing your stories, and I'm looking forward to hearing from employers. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out today for this announcement. Most of all, I want to thank the entire community, Lou, you and the entire community, for rallying around our young people. They need our help today. That unemployment rate for youth is too high, but working together, I'm absolutely confident that we can tackle this challenge, continue to build a strong economy today, but also to continue to build that strong economy for that next generation, so we can be proud to pass on a strong province and a strong economy to our kids and grandkids. Thank you all so very, very much for the work you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Duguid. And yeah, we currently are very, very pleased to be witnessing the very successful Youth Employment Fund. And we're pleased to have one of our local employers, a number of local employers here, one who's going to speak to the program and share his experiences and how he's benefited through the fund. So I'd like to briefly introduce Jamie Littlechild, who is the owner of Beyond Signs and Design. Luckily, across the street from us, or perhaps with the weather, we may not have seen you today. It's a graphic design company. They create anything from business cards to signs, including wrapping buses with vinyl wrap. It's a business that's been a staple in, pardon?
It's endless what I can do.
Endless, yes.
Thinking I can do it.
They've been a staple in Cobourg for many years, and we're really pleased that two of our youth are benefiting from working and getting trained at that location. So if I could ask you, Jamie, to come forward.
They're second-year electrical engineering
Yeah.
students.
And they're competing with
Hi everybody, I am Jamie from Beyond Signs and Design. I am the owner. I've only been in business 1 year. I used to work for another company that closed. Had a successful sign shop and printing business called Creative Edge. I took it over. I was the only person at the time when I took it over. I didn't have any employees. But I knew it was going to be a very, very successful business. So what I did is I actually, my first employee I hired through Watt Employment was in March. His name was Rick. He was the designer, so I first started there. I was introduced to this program, and I think it's a great program. For a business like me, the overhead cost is huge. And this program gave me the ability to hire people that could grow my business, and maybe one day even take it over, I'm hoping one day. Because I'm planning to expand my business, not just here in Cobourg, elsewhere. I'm looking to go Peterborough, Belleville, just because the service I offer is like no other around here. There's companies that just do strictly printing, some companies that strictly just do signs. I've captured that whole market because I used to have a shop in Toronto, so I do signs, design, printing, even window tinting. I got into that, so I cover a large area. But getting back to this Wadden program, I hired my first one in March, and then after that, believe it or not, I hired 5 more people through the Wadden employment. So I went from 1 person to 5 people in not even 1 year, and I'm not stopping from there. Without this program, I don't think I would be here and successful if it wasn't for this program, because I couldn't afford it. So I want to thank you guys very much, Watton, and the Youth Employment Fund, because without that, I don't think I would be here today, and now my future looks very, very bright. So I want to say thank you very much.
FCTV.
Thank you very much, Jamie. We appreciate your comments. And we're really pleased today to have one of those students who's working for Jamie, our youth. She's not a student. Her name's Crystal. She graduated from Durham College in 2012 as a graphic artist. Prior to that, she worked for 8 years in the service industry, so probably all the way through school and then again at the end. And she worked diligently at trying to find a job, job searching and networking until she got this placement at Beyond Science and Design. And I just want to note that the beautiful posters we have around the room with some of our young people working and down the hallway, those were created by Crystal through her graphic arts skills. And she did these in 2 days, huge turnaround. We gave her a really short timeline. She measured up, and she proved that the company lives up to its motto that there is nothing we can't do. So we're really pleased to have her here today, and I'm going to ask Crystal to just say a few words about how the program's impacted her.
Yeah, it's not very common. Yeah, it's not too bad. I spent about 2 years job searching, and I really wanted to stay close to home because I spent a lot of money going to school and everything. So I wanted to stay close to home, and I also wanted to support my community because I've lived here forever and I wanted to stay here. And I actually found the job through networking of my own, but the opportunity for the job was basically given because of the Watton employment. Like Jamie said, he wouldn't be able to hire as many people as he does if it wasn't for that. So I'm really grateful because it allowed me to stay in my community and keep my job close to home, which was nice, and it keeps me close to my family, which I like. And that's about it.
Thank you very much.
Really, I'm here in Cobourg to thank the Watton Employment Services and all of their frontline workers for the incredible job they've done in implementing our Youth Employment Fund. Youth Employment Fund here, they've fulfilled all the expectations. I think they're up to 39 placements here, which is absolutely phenomenal in a very short 4.5 months. I know they're going to do more. Across the province, this program has provided opportunities for 6,463 young people in a short 4.5 months, well on the road to meet our goal of 25,000 placements in the next 24 months. So I'm here today, really, and I've been crossing the province the last week, really just to say thank you to the employers who have stepped up, community leaders who have stepped up to take on a young person, and to continue to promote a program that is becoming a very successful Ontario program. Yes, I say to all Ontarians, take a really close look at what he's trying to sell there. He talks about 1 million jobs. Really what it is, it's 1 million cuts and less jobs. The fact of the matter is there's 3 types of programs that he's putting forward. One are programs that have failed in the past and are probably going to fail again. The second are programs that we're already doing. And so we've been there and done that, Tim. And we're continuing to do that. Appreciate the fact that they're supporting some of the stuff that we've done. The third is an area that concerns me greatly, and these are programs that are going to take away from jobs in the province, not add. Cutting healthcare, cutting education. That's not going to create jobs. That's going to cost us jobs and impact our competitiveness. On top of that, this right to work for less proposal that that Tim Hudak is advocating, that's going to drive down low income and middle income incomes for hard-working Ontarians across this province. I say to Ontarians, take a really close look. Tim Hudak's plan is a lot of rhetoric, not a lot of substance.